Welcome back to our channel. It's truly a pleasure to have you here again as we dive deep into the transformative teachings of Buddha. In this video, we are going to address one of the most powerful and profound teachings of Buddhism, the nature of attachment, and how everything we cling to in this life is essentially empty and impermanent. You might be thinking, what do you mean by this? Why are the things we are attached to so worthless? Today, we'll explore the core Buddhist idea that attachment to the things we hold dear is the very source of our suffering. In Buddha's teachings, he often warns us about how easily we become attached to things that are fleeting, whether it's material wealth, personal success, or even relationships. These attachments are like husks with no real substance or lasting value. Buddha's insight into the impermanent nature of samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, shows us the futility of clinging to anything that is part of this transient world. But what does this mean for us in our daily lives? How can we truly let go of these attachments and live a life of true peace and wisdom? Let's delve deeper into Buddha's teachings and find out. Understanding attachment and its consequences. In our lives, we often feel an inherent need to cling to things, our possessions, our roles in society, our achievements. This attachment seems to give us a sense of security, a feeling that we are in control of our lives. However, Buddha teaches that this attachment to things, people, and even ideas is the very cause of our suffering. Attachment is the root of our desires and cravings. When we are attached to something, we hold on to it as though it defines who we are. We believe that if we have it, we will be happy. If we lose it, we will be devastated. This creates a constant cycle of fear and anxiety because, as Buddha pointed out, nothing in samsara is permanent. Everything we cling to is bound to change, decay, and eventually disappear. And when it does, we are left feeling empty, lost, and in pain. This cycle of attachment is what keeps us trapped in samsara. We hold on to things that are inherently empty, believing they bring us fulfillment, but in reality, they are just impermanent forms that will eventually fade. Buddha's teachings on emptiness and impermanence challenge us to reconsider our attachments and recognize that true happiness doesn't come from holding on to the fleeting things of this world. The illusion of permanence by clinging to samsara is a mistake. The key lesson Buddha teaches is that everything in samsara is impermanent: the body, the mind, relationships, wealth, even our very thoughts. All of these things are constantly changing and evolving. Yet, we often treat them as permanent and solid. This is where the illusion lies. We believe that the things we hold dear will always be there, and that's what leads to disappointment, frustration, and suffering. Buddha's powerful insight is that the more we cling to things in samsara, the more we tie ourselves to suffering. Everything in samsara, be it our material wealth, our relationships, or our achievements, ultimately lacks true substance. Just like husks, they provide no lasting nourishment for the soul. They might seem important in the moment, but they cannot offer us the peace and joy we seek. This teaching asks us to reconsider how we approach the world. Instead of attaching ourselves to fleeting things, Buddha urges us to look beyond them and focus on cultivating inner peace, wisdom, and compassion, qualities that are not subject to the forces of impermanence. How attachment leads to a cycle of suffering and rebirth. At the heart of Buddha's teachings is the law of cause and effect. The actions we take, fueled by our attachments and desires, create the conditions for future suffering. This is known as karma, the idea that our actions have consequences, and those consequences led us into future cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. When we cling to the impermanent things of samsara, we create karma that keeps us bound to this cycle. For example, if we pursue material wealth with the belief that it will bring us happiness, we are setting ourselves up for suffering. Wealth, by nature, is impermanent. It can be gained and lost, and when we become attached to it, we suffer when it is lost. In the same way, attachment to relationships, positions of power, or even personal identities creates karma that leads to future rebirth as in samsara. We may think we are accumulating happiness by clinging to these attachments, but in truth, we are simply perpetuating our own suffering by locking ourselves into a cycle of desire and aversion. Buddha's insight into impermanence shows us that only by letting go of these attachments can we break free from the cycle of samsara. By ceasing to cling to things that are bound to change, we free ourselves from the karmic consequences of attachment, and we begin to cultivate the conditions for liberation. The wisdom of non-attachment, a path to freedom. Buddha's teachings on non-attachment are at the core of his path to liberation. To truly free ourselves from the suffering of samsara, we must learn to let go of our attachments. This doesn't mean we stop engaging with the world or that we become detached from others. It means that we no longer cling to things as if they are permanent or as if they define who we are. True wisdom comes from recognizing that nothing in samsara is permanent, not our bodies, not our possessions, not our emotions, not our thoughts. When we let go of the need to cling to these impermanent things, we find peace. Instead of constantly grasping at things that are destined to fade, we begin to cultivate equanimity, an inner peace that isn't shaken by the changing tides of life. Non-attachment is not about giving up everything we have, it's about changing our relationship to the things we hold dear. We can still enjoy life, still love, still work, but we no longer identify with these things. They do not define us. By practicing non-attachment, we move closer to the freedom that Buddha promised, freedom from the fear and anxiety that arise from clinging to impermanent things. Living a life of wisdom and non-attachment. How can we begin to practice non-attachment in our daily lives? Buddha's teachings encourage us to examine our attachments closely. We need to ask ourselves, what am I holding on to? Where am I holding on to it? Is this attachment bringing me peace, or is it causing me suffering? One of the most powerful tools for practicing non-attachment is mindfulness. By staying present in the moment and observing our thoughts, emotions, and attachments without judgment, we can begin to let go of the need to cling to things. When we feel desire or attachment arising, we can simply acknowledge it and allow it to pass, rather than feeding it with further desire. In addition to mindfulness, Buddha encourages us to practice generosity and compassion. When we give without expecting anything in return, we release our grip on the things we cling to. This practice helps us break free from our attachments and reminds us that true happiness does not come from holding on, but from letting go. In conclusion, finding true freedom in letting go. In this video, we've explored Buddha's profound teachings on attachment, impermanence, and samsara. By understanding that everything we cling to is ultimately empty like husks, we can begin to break free from the cycle of suffering that keeps us trapped in the transient world of samsara. True freedom comes when we stop identifying with the impermanent things around us. Instead of clinging to the things we believe define us, we can learn to let go and live in harmony with the changing world. By practicing non-attachment, mindfulness, and generosity, we move closer to the liberation Buddha taught us to seek. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope this discussion has inspired you to reflect on your own attachments and how they may be causing you suffering. Let go of what you are holding on to and embrace the freedom that comes from recognizing the impermanent nature of samsara. Please leave your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful teachings. Let's continue on the path of non-attachment together, finding peace in the impermanence of life.